My name is Christine Schuler-Deschryver. I'm the VD Congo director and the director of City of Joy in Bukavu, DR Congo.
My name is Madeleine Gavin, and I'm the director of the film City of Joy, which is about the center in Bukavu in DRC that Christine is the director of.
Well, first of all, wow. And Christine, especially thank you for making the trip here to be with us during the screening. We really appreciate both of you coming to Dallas, and hope the city welcomes you and that you enjoy it.
Yeah, no, it's been great. We have these amazing hosts who've been taking us around, so
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
it's been great.
Okay, so I was kind of looking online at some of your previous work, and well, I guess I can talk a little bit about the documentary first. You have 3 subjects. It's not just Christine, but also a physician, Denise, and Eve Ensler, the American playwright. Now, I know that you have worked with Eve Ensler before, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So were you the one who introduced her to Christine?
No, so I knew Eve, and for a few years, I was creating web pieces that were sort of tracking the work that Eve and Vide were doing around the world to help stop violence against women and girls.
Sure.
And in 2007, when Dr. Mukwege invited Eve to Congo, and she went and she met Christine, I started creating pieces about Congo, and I created like 4 or 5 to 15-minute pieces. And this was before City of Joy had, the center had been built. It was just when they met. But when I created those pieces, it was the first time I really heard the stories of women in Congo, and I was just blown. Sorry, it was the phone.
It's all good.
I was just blown away by what was going on to women in Congo, and also, the devastation of their homes, their families, their bodies, and just the stories were so incredible. I mean, I'd never heard anything like it. But what was equally sort of arresting was the strength and power of these women, and their sort of palpable demand for meaning in their lives, even after what they'd been through. And that was just mind-boggling to me. And so a few years later, when Christine and Eve and Dr. Mukwege were building City of Joy, I thought, this is more than just a 5 to 15-minute piece. This
Absolutely.
really deserves a feature. And so basically the film is about the 3 founders, but it's also about the first class of girls
Absolutely.
that go through the City of Joy and, basically turn their pain to power.
I thought it was really interesting. There's a bit in the movie where someone disputes the name of City of Joy, and that had kind of struck me as well. I was like, well, it's not City of Healing, it's not City of Hope, it's not City of Survival, it's City of Joy. Christine, can you tell us a little bit more about that and why your facility has this name?
At the beginning, when Eve Ensler came in 2007, I think she was the first person who asked a woman what they wanted. And then the woman told her that they wanted a roof to be empowered. And then we started this discussion about the name. And they said City of Joy. So with everyone like City of Joy, there's already a City of Joy somewhere, like in India. And so we try to tell the girls, no, maybe we should. They say, you asked us what we wanted, and we want a place, and we want the name would be City of Joy. And I said, let's do it. Because we were thinking about City of Hope, but not City of Joy, and they were like, no, it will be City of Joy. And I have to say, now I got it. Because, it may sound a little bit bizarre, but that's the place where I love the most. It's not only like blood and tears and sadness. It's just this amazing place to heal, not only the bodies, but like the mind, the whole. I'm not talking about the medical, but I always compare the women when they arrive. We have a dry season and a rainy season in Congo. And during the dry season, you think that all the flowers are dry. But from the time you have the first rain, you can see all the flowers, coming back to life. And that's exactly the same way when the girls arrive, they all so sad, so skinny. And after weeks, months, and after the 6 months, they are like the most beautiful flowers in the Congo.
Yeah, you actually we meet several of the young ladies who are part of City of Joy, but we do focus a lot on a young lady named Jane. Who arrives after dozens of operations, a horrible physical trauma, and dozens of operations, and finally arrives in City of Joy and becomes a leader there.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about her and how you worked with her, and really how you worked with all of these women, because I've heard some American women talk about looking for the courage to describe their sexual assault, even to loved ones, even to law enforcement. So for someone to go on camera and say, I'm going to give you graphic details of what happened to me, not only to my body, but emotionally, how I was traumatized, mentally, how I was traumatized. How do you begin to approach that as a filmmaker?
I think, a lot of that is really, because of Christine and Eve and Dr. Mukwege and the place that they built for these women. And storytelling is a huge part of the process of healing. And so Christine can definitely speak to that. But in terms of the film, seeing that as a filmmaker, I wanted to communicate that. And, when Christine talks about joy and the fact that the girls chose the name City of Joy, joy is something that you feel at City of Joy. It's so crazy, but in a way that we do not feel in this country. And I really mean that. For me personally, and I know others have said the same thing, the experience that I've had there emotionally and felt from the girls is something that we don't often feel in the United States. And I think we protect ourselves from pain, we protect ourselves from the positives about that as well. And there's just something, there's a lesson in this film for us about, gratitude, hope, about the power of the grassroots,
Yes.
Even against things that seem completely, beyond what we could possibly change. And so for me, in terms of what you're asking, Jane is unbelievable. And Christine can obviously speak. Christine spends every day with Jane. But she's an extraordinary force. And for me, the challenge was making a film about something that had so much pain, and yet communicating the joy that also is there, and not allowing the film to sort of go too far. Sort of the balance of the tones was a big deal for me, because I wanted people to have an experiential feeling, not just to see a film or learn things, but to feel what I felt. And so Christine can talk about, because I think a lot of the reasons why the girls were willing to tell the story for the film is because of their faith in Christine, Eve, and Dr. Mukwege, the founders of the center.
Sure.
And so for me, it was just communicating what they set up, really.
So how did you begin to build that trust? Because there is, not only with Madeleine, but there's a bit where you describe, when someone first brought up Eve Ensler to you in the documentary, it says no, I don't want any celebrities walking around here, because you'd had negative experience with Western-centered celebrities coming in, and it's very much perhaps a publicity stunt.
Yes.
One-hit wonder, shall we? And but you came to trust Eve and work with her and introduce her to these young ladies.
No, first of all, let's go back to Jane. Jane was brought to the hospital by my brother. All my brothers are pilots, so he brought her in a basket. She was rotten. She was like a piece of rotten meat. So he brought her at the hospital, and at that time, all my free time, I went to volunteer at the hospital to see how I can bring people, to talk about this problem. And I was always attracted by by Jane because she was like she went to live out of the not with the people because she smelled so bad. And I always went to talk to her, and suddenly she told me that the one who brought me was Luc, and Luc is my brother. So that was the first connection. And she was so like she wanted to change like the world. She had some revolutionary thinking. So I was like, okay, she will be my best friend. And
she'll be the president.
When Eve came, I have to say, I was really, by the time they told me she was a celebrity, I was like, no, thank you. Because, you know, so many celebrities, I'm not gonna name them, came, you know, with all their paparazzi.
Sure.
And I think I was in every People magazine with them, you know, like. And at the end, they left and they just left me, you know, the business card. And they never came back again. So by the time they told me Eve was a celebrity, I was like, I don't want to meet her. And one day they brought me 2 little children who were raped. And you know, when you have these tears and you see these little bodies so destroyed, I was like, I'm not gonna call my husband anymore because he will tell me, you went to the hospital again, look at you. Because I also became anorexic. I didn't want to eat anymore because I felt so useless. And I don't know why I took this piece of paper that they left me with Eve's address, so I called her. And I was really weeping. And I told Eve, you know, for the first time of my life, I think I can kill. And she told me, Christine, I'm coming. And from the first time I saw her, it was like, that was the woman I was waiting for. Because, of course, I cannot compare myself to this icon, Eve Ensler, but she has the same anger than me. We do have the same values, I have to say the same roots. Like the policy of V-Day is to promote, you know, like the women from grassroots, the one who had nothing and they were not like, you know, the future to be. And that's Jane. She came at City of Joy, she couldn't write, she couldn't. And we were like, Jane, you can do it. She went back to school after the first session. Now she works as a social assistant at City of Joy. She has a good salary. She built her house. She still goes to school. And we let her go to school and work. And that's how you can value people and show them that they are these amazing human beings. They are powerful. And I always say, you know, the Congolese people, they don't need spokesperson. They just need somebody to give them a microphone to talk by themselves.
I actually loved that part in the documentary where Eve is introducing Jane and she tells the women, it's almost like watching an improv class. She says, step up and take your own space. Yeah, so I totally thought of that when you said we don't need a spokesperson. It's like, because each of those young women is her spokesperson. She is her own, and she owns her story and doesn't have to feel ashamed of her story. I thought it was so wonderful. I mean, as an artist, Madeleine, I'm sure you love this, seeing how art played this integral part in the growth. You know, not only storytelling, but dancing. It's a beautiful description of dancing there, and drawing and writing.
Well, I think that's, you know, it's so hard to tell the story of a transformation. I mean, how do you depict it in film or in, you know, with visuals? And so again, that was, you know, such a challenge in that scene for me, you know, because these women are changing. They're actually changing, but how do you put that into a 90-minute film?
Sure.
So that scene for me, and others too, were very symbolic, because in that scene when Eve says, you know, stand up, everyone stand up, take space, take space. And what I love about it is that you can see the girls trying to find their space. And some are like a little awkward at first, and then maybe the next time I go to them, they're finding a little more purpose in their movements. And it's just, so it's like there's so much, and it's so interesting to see this physical transformation. But yeah, I love that scene too.
It was beautiful. I loved it. Okay, before we go, I did want to ask one more thing. There is, touches on it several times in the film, and you mentioned, like, when you met Eve, you felt the same anger in her. And there is, I mean, trigger warning for anyone who watches, there is first-person descriptions of extreme physical trauma. So people going into the documentary probably should be aware of that. There's nothing that is shaded away. But there is, not only is this a story of the transformation of the young ladies, but also how you, Christine, and Dr. Mukwege came back from your own psychological trauma, because it isn't just, these girls who have been wounded, the people who see them every day, that's a wound.
Yeah.
And I thought that was lovely that you addressed that the people who have given their lives to this are also in pain here.
Well, that was one of the things I thought was so amazing and so palpable, and then Christine should speak to this too, but was just the devotion that Christine and Dr. Mukwege and Eve, in a different way, but have for the women, and also that the women have for this kind of mutual, we're in this together and we're all helping each other, and it was so amazing when I heard the story, when Dr. Mukwege told me the story about how he had slept well for the first time after that day when the girls danced, and I was like, oh my God. And then when Christine told me her story and about how Eve coming and City of Joy had helped Christine, and then the girls had given Christine this reason to have to be better, and also with the girls, Dr. Mukwege says in the film at one point, he says Jane is the quintessential Congolese woman, a woman who has lost everything. No family, no home, her body devastated, and yet she will fight for others. And so this idea that everyone's helping each other was so beautiful. And that to me, I wanted that to be one of the core sort of thematics in the film. And so having their stories and connecting is really important. But Christine can speak to that.
No, I have to say, sometimes girls, they are thanking you and blessing you for what we do, and I think I am the one who have to thank them, and to because sometimes I think I'm alive. First of all, because I have an amazing husband and children, and also the love that I received from those girls, and also from my Vide family. I think without that, I wouldn't be alive anymore. And also I learned that, to be more useful, we have to take care of ourselves. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to listen to our bodies, because as activists, we not often but always forget ourselves by the side of the road. And this is something that I learned, that now I'm listening to my body and I have to follow, because I want to stay in this journey with those girls. I hope for a long, long time. I hope I will age at City of Joy. No, it's so much. I cannot imagine my life without going there every day. It's not like the work, you wake up in the morning, it's like, oh my God, I have to go. You wake up so early in the morning because you want to be there it's something I can't explain. You have to go there to understand.
I think it's wonderful. I think you light up when you talk about it. You look beautiful when you talk about it. You both do.
I love my life.
Well, I know I have to let you go, but before you go, you're talking about you're thanking the girls. We want to thank you for being here. Thank you for your work, Christine, and your work, Madeleine, for bringing it to our attention, for both of you being willing to come and be with us. We hope you enjoy the festival and hope we see you again.
Yeah, and no, thank you for inviting us. We're thrilled to be here.